I have been doing Blender for half a year now as a side hobby. More or less, I plucked a courage to finally make my first character. The one I wanted to make at first was Kujirai from Cool and Generic Romance. I started by gathering references from anime by just going through episodes and finding signs and from angle for full body and also for the face. I aligned them accordingly so stuff like chin, eyes are on the same level. It was 15th of September when I started making it. I was going with 2 tutorials, one for the head and one for the body. My only experience in my previous works were not complex objects, so I knew the basics like basic controls and how to unwrap and put a texture on the body. I started my journey with making a headpiece. I didn't have that much problem following the tutorial of creating the head. I added pupils and a neck piece, so it's going to be easier with detecting these areas later. It was going pretty good and smoothly. At the beginning I was afraid that the shape was coming out ugly, but at the end of the day it looked somewhat nice. One thing I know in Blender, it depends on what you learn because I didn't watch any tutorials talking about topology, but what I noticed is to try avoiding the triangles except in certain areas. As you will see, it became my obsession to just remove it from everywhere. Next, I modeled the mouth more so it has more depth and shape. There came up some issues regarding the neck with the triangles, but I figured out the way of fixing my edges so it looked nice. At the end of the day, I was just moving things out so it looks better and creating the space for the whole eye area to later place the eyebrows. On the day 2, I was preparing the eyes for filling. At the beginning, I did the eyelashes and gave them some bumpiness. Then one problem occurred when I was filling the eyes, so there was no void there. There is an option called grid fill. You select the loop of vertices you want and it will create a grid connecting them. I had some issues with it, so I had to do it manually, and then came my triangle problem, took some time with it, but when I finished it didn't look so bad. On the other hand, I was testing smooth shading if it looks okay. I fixed the chin I messed up with smooth brush cause apparently it removes the spikiness, and for today I finished making eyebrows along with filling the eye. Next day I did some corrections, extruded the neck and created the eyebrows. I'm actually happy with the result cause I just went with it and it worked nicely. I could finally work on the body, and with the body, the only thing I did is follow a topology screenshot I did from the second video and just went along with the structure. It was looking so funny when I took a peek at it from the side, cause it was just so flat like a sheet of paper. So yeah, I just went with it. Actually, how my reference was looking, it came out rather blocky, but I could sculpt that later to focus on topology for now. I did the back, but in order for it to match the front, I had to do a lot. Basically, I joined the vertices, one from the outer line and one from the current I was doing, and subdividing them in the middle to put accordingly to the front. Unfortunately for me, edges in the back and front weren't matching, so I had to figure out where I messed up. I fixed it, though it took some time. Before finishing for today, I added more cuts to my model, so the next day I can start with sculpting my hunched over model. On day 4, I moved on to the sculpting. This project was the first time I touched the sculpting mode. I didn't know any brushes, so I used the one I kind of felt, and sadly for me, I first picked the one that messed up my topology on the chest. All the vertices in the center were intersecting with each other, so I had to stop and fix that. That didn't take too long, but still was annoying. I moved on to the bottom part of the body so it feels more feminine-like. The same was going for the breast area. Here I really like how it turned out, mostly thanks to the smooth brush. It allowed me to fix so much, it's my favorite brush so far. I got to work with the back. I did the rough extruding using proportional editing along with smooth brush, did it a couple of times until I liked it. Next was the hand, and unfortunately I forgot to record it. Well, I just added the UV sphere and extruded the parts where the fingers are. I haven't finished it for today, but I did some necessary smoothing and cutting for tomorrow. On day 5, I finished modeling the hand, like giving it a shape and then attaching it to the arm. I had to scale the arm and the hand a little bit so the hand is not seen as a dwarf's one. After the arm, I corrected the knees, posture, and it was time to test the body on smooth shading. I had some new issues that even if I moved the vertices, I had this ugly cavity, but fast searching it and I found an easy solution. Go to edit mode, press A to select all and shift N. It flipped just like that. This phenomenon ended this day. The next day I started the new piece, which was the hair. I kind of messed up because instead of forming a flat plane and giving it a thickness modifier to later apply it, I used the 6-edge cylinder and just make it work. I extruded here and there, gave the end of the strand a spiky look, and that all took me some time. The hardest part was to make sense out of it all. I focused first on the front view and it was then difficult to make it good from the side view. All I can say is I had no tutorial to hair at all, and one good advice I can say for sure is if something is too messed up, like a hair looking like a jumbled pasta, just delete it and redo it. It can be most of the time faster than correcting the original. This ends the day 6, just making bangs. Moving on to day 7, I decided to do the right side of the hair by shooting the faces. It was going pretty good until I looked up the front and it was stiff instead of being curled up. I decided to ignore it at the moment and just focus on making the side work. The funniest thing I did is place a big ass hole in between hair ends vertices, did the loop cuts there, and reattached to the existing pieces, and strangely it worked really well. I finished the right side by laying what I've done so far onto the head, then I did some of the left side. I just used the same wall strut as before, then extruding it downwards so you had this terrible and stiff hairstyle for now. I gave it a little bit of shape, I came back a little later and did the same as I did on the right side and closed the head. It was my second mistake because instead of grid close, I did the 1 point close, or how do you want to call it. It missed the point of head being grid and hair being otherwise. On the other hand, I tried to make the ends curly, but then I had to correct the side again. It would be much easier to just duplicate the shape of the head and work with my hair on that. I checked the smooth shading on my hair and ended the day on that. On day 8 was going back to making the hair. I focus on making the hair ends so it makes sense from the side and the front, and also try to curl them manually so they look good from both of the views. had an issue with back hair, so I had to kind of reattach it and close it. With the hair process, I really regretted that I hadn't duplicated the head for the hair, cause loop cuts around the hair were making sense, but I left it at that. I moved on to making side cowlicks, and how I did them was easy but time consuming. Just extruded the part I liked because I couldn't pick them all out from the middle for reason of not making sense from the side view. For the front and the left side I did the same, and I'm glad how it turned out despite me experimenting. This time I decided to not match the reference perfectly, otherwise her hair would look like sprayed a lot with hairspray. I did the cowlicks on the left side, smoothed up the upper part and added some extra bits so the front looks better, and honestly, I nailed that one. I really loved how it turned out, especially the front. I curled some more, and all I can say is I think the hair took the most of my time, reason being a lot of new issues coming, but I finally finished it with great result. I joined together head with body, and I did not care too much about the edge count on the neck not being the same as on the body. Then I cut the hole in the neck so the body is a perfect void inside, smoothed some hair and head. On day 10, it was final time to make a dress. I did the right decision this time, duplicating and scaling the part of the body for it. I know some feel like cloth modifier exists, but from what I've watched, the girl is building it onto the body. I really discovered that I like the smooth brush and the grab brush. It was doing everything for me. I then tried to do the female shape and the sleeves as on the reference. Eventually I did the base of the dress with pushing the body underneath so nothing sticks out, and left the details for the next day. I modeled the breast and sleeve area to later do the cavity for the shirt to at least create an illusion of it. Added stitches for later and pressed it downwards, had to also press the body inside again. The same I did with sleeves area, and in the end, the model was coming together nicely. Now it is the time to fix those horse feet. I glued the foot with the shoe, and even though at the beginning it looked like slippers, later when I added more depth in her bracelet on smooth shading, it was looking really nice. Got it connected with the main body, and that was the end of the modeling part. This is going to be why I failed my character creation. Considering I spent 11 days modeling, discovering some new stuff, my motivation and determination were running dry. I UV mapped everything and some new issues occurred. I don't know when it happened, but apparently I extruded some vertices by mistake and UV map was showing me fragments that didn't make any sense and were overlapping with the body. I painted these spots to discover where they were to merge in with the body, nevertheless it was annoying. I went with how colors were looking on reference, but it was just bland. Unfortunately, I had to leave it at that because I was overwhelmed with the project already. On the last day of my journey, I textured everything using Blender and my drawing program to easier import the looks onto the texture. I still had some problems with bad colors, but I couldn't do anything anymore. I finished it with shaders and just slapped something I read on the internet and just copy-pasted without thinking. To my surprise, it didn't work how I wanted it to be, so I left it at that, created the background, animation, and this was the end result. So what did I learn from this experience? Well, first of all, modeling took me too long, so I didn't have any motivation for later to properly learn shading. Second, that I need to practice on my shaders and also on my coloring technique. The third would be on modeling. I did some techniques that were good, considering my inexperience, but still some of them were a little bit off. And I think the last one, when I would touch, and I will, next projects, I need to do something smaller to learn more than modeling, because in previous works I was doing more modeling instead of like learning UV map, rigging, shadering, doing the animation and background, and I think that's why I lacked something in this project. So yeah, that's that. See ya.